So let's move on. What we've done now is we've talked about the life cycle of an individual monarch. It goes from an egg to a caterpillar to a pupa and to an adult. So let's now think about what's going to happen now next with monarchs. So Corbin, are you seeing many monarchs outside very much now?
No.
No, you're not seeing very many now. Are you seeing any in your gardens?
No.
No. You might be seeing there maybe are still a few left in Virginia, but I bet that you were seeing a lot more a couple weeks ago. Is that true, Tim?
Yes, because all of them are migrating to Mexico.
Right, so the monarchs are leaving. And the same is true for me. I was seeing a lot of butterflies in my garden a couple weeks ago. I live in Minnesota, which is about 1,000 miles west of here and a little bit north, and I haven't seen a monarch in my yard or at the University of Minnesota's butterfly garden for almost 3 weeks. So where are all of the monarchs now? Yeah, okay.
When it's winter here, they're all...
We need to get you the microphone here. Yeah.
When it's winter here, they're all going down to Mexico.
Right. And in a few minutes, we're going to learn about 2 citizen science programs that track monarchs during their migration. One of these programs is Monarch Watch, and I've just read several reports on the Monarch Watch website of lots of monarchs moving through Texas. Those monarchs came from Virginia, where all you guys live, and from Minnesota, where I live, and many other states and Canadian provinces, maybe even from your school garden or my campus garden. So we can look at these maps here. Here, maybe you could help me hold this map. Could you do that? Okay. So we have these maps here, and monarchs breed throughout the summer in the northern parts of their range. And right now, here, just put your hand right there to hold on to that. Really good. So right now, these monarchs are moving south, and where they are right now is in Texas, funneling through Texas and arriving at their overwintering spots in central Mexico, and if they're from the western part of the country, in coastal California. And they'll be getting there in late October and early November. Now, some monarchs in the eastern United States, maybe the monarchs that came from your garden in Virginia, may fly south into Florida and stay there and lay eggs in the winter. And a few of the western United States monarchs may fly into Mexico. But most eastern monarchs fly to Mexico, and most western monarchs fly to the coast of California. Now, as monarchs are migrating, traveling through all these places in the United States, they need access to plenty of flower nectar to give them energy for their flight, and also energy to keep them alive all winter. It's very important that we protect flowers and prairies and roadsides along their migratory path and plant gardens at our schools and homes to provide this nectar. In a few months, our MonarchLIVE program will follow the monarchs to Mexico, and we'll get to see their wintering spots high in the mountains. Just like we need to make sure that they have flowers as they migrate, we need to make sure that the forests that provide the right conditions for monarchs are protected. The very same monarchs that migrated down to Mexico fly back, and we can look right here. So here's the pathway, and you can help me hold that again. Here's the pathway of the monarchs flying back in the spring into the southeastern United States, maybe a few of them going down into Florida. But then do those very same monarchs, let's see, it's Tim's turn here, do those very same monarchs fly all the way back into Virginia and Minnesota where we are?
I think so.
Okay, well, some of them might get there, but actually most of the monarchs that are in the southeastern part of the United States lay eggs down here, and they just don't live long enough to fly all the way back into the northern part of their range. So it's actually the offspring or the children of the butterflies that flew from Virginia and Minnesota, went down to Mexico, came back here, and their offspring are the ones that come back to Virginia. And maybe you're right that a few of the ones might get all the way up here, but certainly none of the ones that overwintered get all the way to where I live in Minnesota. So then these butterflies have 2 more generations that don't migrate to Mexico and only live about 1 month. Now, for several decades, there was a scientist from Canada named Fred Urquhart, and his wife Nora led a tagging program to help answer the question of where monarchs from the United States and Canada went in the winter. School children, teachers, and other interested citizens put tiny stickers on the wings of monarchs like you guys. Didn't you guys do that? Yep, you all put tags on your monarchs. And by tracking the routes of the tag monarchs that were found later, the Urquharts, helped by their associates in Mexico, finally found the wintering colonies. We'll hear more about Monarch Watch, the citizen science program that continues to use the tags to track the monarch migration, in a few minutes.